Breaking news tonight, the Pope in America. A rousing welcome for the man who's been called the rock star Pope. Rock star Pope Francis begins a historic visit.
The Pope, the two leaders will speak to the world, then hold a one-on-one meeting with only translators in the room, all before Pope Francis addresses Congress Thursday with Biden in attendance. Even though the president and the Pope are allies on issues ranging from climate change to income inequality to Cuba, even the Iran nuclear deal, the White House refuses to reveal what the two men will discuss. The White House refuses to reveal what the two men will discuss.
For the faithful who'd been waiting for hours, the emergence of Pope Francis shortly before 9 a.m. was the thrill of a lifetime. Thousands, led by the president and Mrs. Obama, waited to greet him. And after the official welcoming ceremony, both leaders addressed the significance of the visit.
And I believe the excitement around your visit, Holy Father, must be attributed not only to your role as Pope.
And if at times our efforts and works seem to fail and not produce fruit, we need to remember that we are followers of Jesus Christ, and his life, humanly speaking, ended in failure, the failure of the cross.
Flammas eius, Lucifer matutinus inveniat. Ille inquam Lucifer qui nescit occasum, Christus filius tuus, qui regressus ab inferis, humano generis serenus iluxit, et tecum vivit et regnat in saecula saeculorum.
Words from Cardinal Timothy Dolan, but before that, you can see the Pope greeting members of the religious faiths one by one. And as he entered the hall as well, greeting many who were there to see him. This is an important.
Papa Francesco, on behalf of this very distinguished group, representatives of the Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, Sikh, Native American, Jewish, Islamic, and Christian communities of New York City.
Yes.
You say to them, look, I have to have the Sabbath off.
Yes.
Which, may I just confess that I learned in my first meeting with Devon, all these years I thought the Sabbath was Sunday. Yeah. I've been going to church. We say worship on the Sabbath, worship on the Sabbath in the Baptist church. And you corrected me. You said, no, Sunday is the first day of the week. Sabbath is Friday sundown to Saturday sundown.
That's right. That's
right. I stand corrected.
That's because Sunday is a day of worship. You're supposed to be in a Christian church. But wait a second, aren't we supposed to have religious freedom in America? Some religions worship on different days. Because blue laws, which date back to colonial times, still ban that in a dozen states. Originally, they outlawed regular Sunday work. No buying, no selling, traveling, public entertainment, or sports even.
It's baked in, have always had this temptation to let work crowd out all the other things that matter. Family, faith, And they have to be told again and again, knock it off, don't work. It's interesting. You think people are lazy, but they work too much.
Americans work too much.
Maybe, but they should certainly be able to choose their own days off. The idea that somehow a bunch of guys in a state capitol somewhere know what's best for us in terms of, how many days off we take and when we take them.
Everyone listen to the Pope speak on the importance of keeping Sunday as the Sabbath.
We are called to reflect more deeply on the mystery of creation and therefore of our own lives. We are called to rest.
Especially those in situations of greater vulnerability or risk. Legislative activity is always based to take care of the people. To this you have been invited, called, and convened by those who elect you. Yours is a walk which makes me reflect in two ways on the figure of Moses. On the one hand, the patriarch and lawgiver of the people of Israel symbolizes the need of people to keep alive their sense of unity by means of just legislation.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Stocks up on supplies at the supermarket. But Karin, like most people here in Sweden, won't be paying with cash when she gets to the checkout.
I personally never use cash. As you see here, I'm shopping. I use my scanner. When I check out, I'll use my credit card, and my banking I do on my iPhone. So that's it. I don't need any cash.
He is now joining the war on cash. We've seen that from the ECB, and they're saying, we should get rid of the €500 note. In the UK, we're seeing the former chief executive of Standard Chartered. He's saying that we should get rid of the £50 note. So there's a war on cash going on. They're saying it's because they want to stop terrorism. They're saying because they want to stop money laundering. But as we've seen over and over, the banks are the ones that are involved in that anyway. So
popular culture proclaims the RFID chip is the mark of the beast. However, let us first ponder the scripture.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Before we investigate what the mark of the beast is, we must first discover how the no buy and sell will be administered, and only a cashless society can achieve that. The greatest misconceptions are spread by repeating the opinions of others. Let us go straight to the source, the Bible, and learn the clear and distinct definition of what exactly is the mark of the beast. A beast in Bible prophecy is a kingdom, as explained in the following verse. Daniel 7:23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth. Now the mark which belongs to the papacy is the professed holy day of mainstream Christianity. Sunday is our mark of authority. The Church is above the Bible, and this transference of Sabbath observance is proof of that fact. Catholic Record of London, Ontario, September 1st, 1923. Protestants accept Sunday rather than Saturday as the day for public worship after the Catholic Church made the change. But the Protestant mind does not seem to realise that, in observing Sunday, they are accepting the authority of the spokesman for the Church, the Pope. Our Sunday Visitor, February the 5th, 1950. Sunday keeping went mainstream as a day of worship and rest in 321 AD, when Emperor Constantine decreed it under the influence of his flatterer, Bishop Eusebius. The divinely appointed Sabbath, Saturday, was moved to Sunday, Dies Solis, and those true Christians who disobeyed the Sunday apostasy were penalised and persecuted. Bishop Eusebius was the hidden hand in this religio-political decree as Emperor Constantine realized the religio-political benefits uniting pagans and Christians within the Roman Empire. Bishop Eusebius was part of an apostate Christian movement that evolved into the Roman Catholic Church, as Sunday keeping had been preeminent among apostate Christians around 70 years before Emperor Constantine's decree. The fourth commandment, Exodus 28, remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy, has never been changed under any biblical or apostolic instruction. Jesus, the disciples, and all the early churches mentioned in the Bible, for example Corinthia, Thessalonica, Galatia, and churches in Rome, kept the Sabbath Saturday. The Pope's title Vicarius Filii Dei, vicar or representative of the Son of God, adds up to 666 in Latin, Greek, and Hebrew. Vicarius, or vicar, is derived from the word substitute, as the Pope assumes the title Substitute of Christ on earth. Therefore, Mark of the Beast 666 is a prophecy that every nation will enforce a Sunday law by fine, economic sanctions, and finally the death penalty. The United States or Vatican alliance can achieve this goal through controlling the global financial systems of the world, implementing sanctions or withholding global currency or access to the SWIFT international payment system. The mark of the beast is an invisible mark, and like the seal of God, which is also invisible, is an individual choice of whom to obey, symbolizing either God's commands or Satan's counterfeit. The mark in the forehead, pertaining to both the mark of the beast and the seal of God, signifies the moral choice of how they will obey, as the frontal lobe at the front of the forehead is where moral decisions are made. Therefore the mark is symbolic of that choice. However, the mark of the beast can also be found in the hand, signifying actions. For example, an atheist or Muslim can keep the global Sunday law by actions, and by those actions they will receive the mark in their right hand, different to those who receive the mark of the beast in their foreheads by believing and choosing Sunday as their religion. And those who refuse the Sunday law will be penalized and persecuted in stages of fines, imprisonment, and the death penalty. You may say that the Sabbath day, Saturday, belongs to the Jews. However, the book of Genesis negates this idea, Genesis 2:3. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. So Genesis chapter 2 verse 3 silences the argument that only the Jews were commanded to keep the Sabbath. James chapter 2:10. For whosoever shall keep the whole law, and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all. Although church and state will unite in their power to compel small and great, rich and poor, free and in bond. Revelation chapter 13 verse 16. Yet the people of God will not receive it. But Christians of past generations observed Sunday, supposing that in so doing they were keeping the Bible Sabbath. And now there are true Christians in every church not accepting the Roman Catholic Communion, who honestly believe that Sunday is the Sabbath of divine appointment. God accepts their sincerity of purpose and their integrity before him, but when the Sunday observance shall be enforced by law, and the world shall be enlightened concerning the obligation of the true Sabbath, then whosoever shall transgress the law of God to obey a precept that has no higher authority than that of Rome, will then honour popery above God. He is paying homage to Rome and to the power that enforces the institution ordained by Rome, and is worshipping the beast in his image. Men will then reject the institution that God has declared to be the sign of his authority, and honour in its stead that which Rome has chosen in token of her supremacy. They will have then set their sign as their allegiance to Rome, the mark of the beast, and it is not until the issue is plainly set before the people and they are brought to choose between the commandments of God and the commandments of men. Those who continue in transgression will receive the mark of the beast. Many think the RFID chip will be the mark of the beast. However, this theory does not pass the biblical test, but nevertheless the RFID chip, facial recognition machines, smart card with SIM, Apple Pay, and many other identification cards are validation that a world government can implement a no-buy-sell ultimatum if the Pope's mark, Sunday law, is not observed.